Well, the 19th century is about to meet the 21st century, and this should give it away. A lever action with an AR-15 style magazine box. Oh my gosh, what's this world coming to? Well guys, this is the latest from Henry, and it is definitely a 21st century lever action. Now the lever action rifles have long been popular. They faded for a while, but they're really coming back strong now. And of course, when most of us think of a lever action, we think of cowboys and John Wayne and all the old classics like this. Now lever actions got started in roughly the 1850s, and by 1860, Henry was already putting one out that was effective. Winchester got involved in that, and by 1866 they came up with the famous Yellow Boy lever action. Then that became the 1873 rifle, the lever action Winchester, that won the West. And from there on out, it was lever action city, the most popular rifle action in America. And then during the early part of the 20th century, almost everybody went whitetail hunting with a 30-30 lever action, or maybe a 35 Remington Marlin, or gosh, they were just the rifles to have. But then scopes came on board, the 30-06 came into existence, bolt actions, and things started to change. And it looked like the lever action was on its way out, but it sprang back to life. I don't know, I think it was because of the nostalgia and or just the fun of operating the darn things, you know? When you're out shooting an autoloader, it just goes bang, 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 you get to move your finger. When you've got a lever action, there's a lot more to do. A lot more to do. I don't know, it's just fun. But at any rate, somebody thought, well, these tubular magazines aren't so cool because you have to use flat-nosed or round-nosed, relatively inefficient blunt bullets in the darn things. And as the magazine empties, you change your vibrations on the barrel, so they're not the most accurate things in the world. What Henry is doing is combining the function of a lever action with some new features from modern rifles. Free-floating barrel, how's that for something different? No barrel band around it, and obviously no tubular magazine. You've got detachable magazine. This one holds 10 rounds, and for places that don't allow you to hunt with 10-round magazines, they've got a little insert to fix that and change it to a 5. And this is my first complaint about the rifle. When I saw this rinky-dink little thing, I thought, nah, come on. This little insert in this little baggie here can be stuck inside of this magazine to convert it to a 5-shot. And that's fine, it'll work, I'm sure, just fine if you put it in and convert this thing to 5. But it's not easy to go back and forth. Good news, you don't have to necessarily go back and forth, because this thing has been set up to accept a lot of other magazines, not this one. This is off of an AR and it doesn't fit. But so is this, and it does fit. So you're going to have to test a few and find out which ones are working with this rifle, but the whole idea is for it to work like this. Here is, what do we have here? Is it a Magpul? No, Tapco. 5.56, bingo. That one works. Gets in the way a little bit when you're, but I think you get the idea. Now wait a minute, who wants to play cowboy with a lever action with something like this hanging off of the bottom? Actually, I don't, but I know there are a lot of people who will. It's just all the rage nowadays to have these big extended magazines. Here's why I don't like them. The balance point on this rifle is right here, and one of the wonderful things about lever actions is their balance. Now going back to the old style Henry here, and I'm in the woods hunting, there's my comfortable carry. It just balances right there. But with that magazine in the way, you can't carry it like that. Of course, you can say, well, big deal, you don't have to. You can sit in your blind and not carry it anywhere, or you can get a sling, but yeah, generally slings aren't real popular on lever actions, but this just bugs the heck out of me. Now, I do have an option though, guys, for balancing this thing, and this might work. I'm going to try it later. Take off the knurled cap, and you've of course got a threaded muzzle, and you can put on a suppressor. Another modern touch to a lever action. And that extra weight out there might just balance it so you could carry it right here. I'm going to give that a try later. All right, now, will this thing shoot? I can tell you this, Henry had a really nice lever action. They still do. It's the Long Ranger, and I borrowed one in 223 and began shooting it That thing shot as good as a half minute of angle 3-shot group at 100 yards out of a lever action rifle. This may be equal to that. We're going to find out. But now you'll notice something. No external hammer. That's really different. Internal hammer, wow, pretty much closed action. Once you close that bolt, things are pretty nicely sealed. You don't have any openings on the top. You don't have a big permanent opening on the side. That keeps the dust and debris out a little bit better, I think, than the old style. Now, the trigger on this one is adjustable. One of the complaints about old lever actions is that the triggers are not all that good. They're usually pretty heavy and a little bit mushy. This one is adjustable. I measured it at 3.5 to 3 3/4 pounds. Pretty consistently dropped right there. And when I squeeze, got a little bit of travel to the take-up point, like a 2-stage trigger. And if I put the safety off, whew, that's pretty light. It's not quite as crisp as a good bolt action, but it doesn't drag. It really doesn't have any mush to it. I think it's going to be pretty accurate, pretty darn nice. The crazy thing about adjusting it, and this is my second complaint, there's this teeny tiny little hole in the trigger shoe. And when I say teeny tiny, I mean teeny tiny. And in that same little bag that had the 5-round magazine fix, there's this oversized Allen wrench. And I don't know, guys. I'm thinking I'm going to twist this thing off if I don't lose it first. Probably lose it, but it's just so teeny tiny. I wish they could have made that a little bigger. But it does double duty. Not only do you put it in this tiny little hole to turn and adjust the pull weight of the trigger, but you can adjust your rear sight with it. So you've got your horizontal and your vertical right there. We're not going to move anything now till we shoot this a few times. So don't lose that Allen key, guys. You might want to change some things down the road. What else can I tell you about this? 18-inch barrel. Pretty much a quick detach magazine. We've seen that. It's a takedown, by the way. I haven't done it yet, but you knock a couple pins out and you can take the buttstock off, and part of the action comes out for easy cleaning, and then it exposes the bolt. And there is something unique too. This is not a traditional bolt face from a traditional bolt action rifle. This looks like the bolt face and the bolt locking lugs of an AR-15. Multiple little lugs, and it rotates into battery. You don't just slam it closed. There aren't any bars popping up in the back to lock it like there are on Winchesters. It rotates in like an AR-15, like a pump action, like a lot of all-loaders. So it really is a modern version of a lever action. So if you've been itching to get into a lever action, but you don't quite feel like being a real cowboy, and you want to use some new pointy ammunition that goes fast like a 223, this one is a 223 Remington. So we're going to load it up and just see how well it functions and how well it shoots. Now, I'm going to be shooting with the open sights that came with this, and I want to say something about that. I like this open sight. Haven't shot it yet, but just looking at it is the best open sight I have tried in years for seeing it and my target. Whether I have my glasses off or my glasses on, I think it's just going to plain work. So I've got a target out there at 50 yards. I don't think I want to try 100 with my eyes and open sights, but I get my glasses on for distance here, and I can see that target quite nicely, and oh yeah. The reason I can find my front sight and get it sighted so nicely is because of this trapezoidal sight. We'll get you a close-up of this thing. But instead of being straight up and down, it is an inverted V. And then the front blade tapers to a fine point. And it's so easy to get that thing perfectly centered in there. I can see it beautifully. Got a little gap on either side so I can see if I'm too far left or right. I really like this. Let's see how well I can shoot it. Now, is there anything else you guys have questions about this? Oh, the safety. The top tang safety, which is kind of convenient for people who are used to. I like this because the tang safety is essentially where your hammer would be on a traditional lever action. So if you're used to reaching up, pulling your hammer back for the shot, you're going to be just pushing the safety off and on in that same position. American walnut stock, it looks like to me. Not much of a recoil pad. This thing is rubber, but it's really hard. But it's a 223, so what do I care? So I don't know, without further ado, I think we should load up some magazines and see if we can put some holes in the paper. Got cold out here, guys. Sun went down. That's all it takes. So I just got 5 rounds in here. I'm using Varmint Express from Hornady. It's a 55 grain. Which bullet is it? VMAX, I assume. Yeah, 55 grain VMAX. We'll get started with that. Woohoo! Get some ears on and see if we can go bang. Fire in the hole, boys. I'm holding just under the red center.
No.
I've got the red ball just atop the front blade. And I have the front blade level with the top of the rear sight. Whoo, brass in the snow. Here we go. Can we see anything? No, we cannot. Well, we shoot way low with that. Got 4 on the paper. Looks like 1 went down. About a 2-inch spread there. I was aiming for the center, so we've got to bring it up quite a bit. As I said, with open sights, we're probably not going to get anything close to the grouping potential of this rifle. As you saw by that target, it's not exactly zeroed. So it'll take a little work to get this thing zeroed. But I really can't give this rifle an accurate test for accuracy without a scope on it. It's just not fair. I think just based on what I shot for a group here, that quickly, first time, that this rifle is probably going to be pretty accurate and it would work just fine in a traditional role of a lever action 30-30 style, which is game in the woods and relatively close ranges. But this has got a great potential to be a coyote hunting rifle. Call coyotes in close. It's quick, short, handy. But I think the real reason that they've got this AR-15 style magazine attachment and the short barrel with the threaded muzzle is that a lot of people are seeing this as a dual purpose hunting rifles, target rifle, and home protection kind of rifle. You've got the quick change magazines, a lot of firepower. Hey, look at this, guys. The balance point is right in front of the magazine because, look what I put on, a Banish backcountry little suppressor. Just as I guessed, that balances things out. Kind of nice to discover. This is going to be a handy, quiet little rifle. Bang. See how quiet that was? So I think that's what Henry is aiming for, shall we say. They call this the Henry Supreme, and as you can tell, it's truly something different in lever actions. Now, stay tuned. I don't know if we're going to append to this video the target shooting once I get my bases and I can mount a scope on here, or if maybe we'll put in a few more just regular target shots with the open sights. Got a lot of ammo here we can test. I got some Barmageddon loads from Nosler, match grade loads from Nosler with a big 77 grain bullet. Oh, by the way, the barrel is twisted 1 1/8, so I should be able to stabilize these longer bullets. And we've got several 55 grain loads, and here's a Remington 69 grade Match King boat tail hollow point. Woohoo! So yeah, I think we'll do a little more work with this tomorrow when the lights come back up and it warms up, and we'll get some chronograph readings off of this rifle, and maybe we'll get lucky and those bases will come in. We'll throw a scope on it. Otherwise, we'll do that show later. So check it out if you're looking for something different in a lever action rifle. Henry's got one, the Henry Supreme. Hey, got some good news for you guys. It's another day, and Tate has come out to help me here. Tate, we are depending on your young eyes. Can you guys see Tate up here?
Hello.
His eyes are much better than mine. We've been fooling around and zeroing it a bit here. I'm still shooting a bit high, but that was Tate. I want to try it now and see if it's too high for me, and if it is, we will lower it. But we got the sighting mechanism all figured out. Yeah, I still have a little trouble now. With I got my glasses on, I can see the target really well, but not the sights quite as much. But boy, it is working as well as I hoped. I can see that little red dot on top of the post beautifully. Well, I wonder if I hit it, partner.
If you hit it, then I don't know what that's going to do for me.
Well, let's just see if I shot as high as you did last time. You were what, 4 inches high, 5 inches high? Pretty good, folks. Looky there. I'd say the top of the front post is probably just under the red ball. So that's pretty darn nice for open sights for old Grandpa. We can see a couple shots here what they do, because Tate was hitting way up here. Then we'll put a fresh target up and we'll shoot some groups. You put some rounds in there for me. Wow, what a good man. Look at that. Whew. Just love running a bolt action.
You mean a lever action?
No, I mean a bolt action. Throw this away. Hate these lever actions. We're not sure which one was which. I think this was probably my last. Don't know for sure. One of them I didn't have a real clean sight picture. Had a little bit of watery eye, but boy, that shows you've got some pretty good potential here. All right, lower left.
Lower left. Whew. That is a tiny little dot to see from 50 yards. Dude, 3-shot group here.
Yes, sir. Boy, I don't know, that sounded like the same hole to me. I did not hear any fresh paper tears.
All right. Let's see what we done.
Okay.
Yeah, those are both new.
No, we had 2 of them here. One on one side, and I think I think it's 1, 2, 3.
I think it's 1, 2, 3, right? Those.
Because I had these 3.
Yep.
No, these 2 were here.
Yep.
This is at 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, which is still not terrible. Those 2 I'm proud of. That one, not so much, but.
Yeah, but still, what it really says though is, here we are shooting the same sight system on this rifle.
Yeah.
And look at how different I'm there where I'm aiming. You're aiming here and hit way up there.
Yeah.
It's just how you've got to zero that rifle
for you,
for your eyes. Each of us holds a sight just a little bit differently. And with a scope, it's much more consistent, and you don't have any parallaxes in it. It should be spot on. But boy, not with these open sights. But it does show that we've got some great potential. We've got to get the scope on here.
Yep.
And see how well this thing does. But before we finish with this, I just want to see if this will stabilize some big heavy bullets. I think I've got a 77 grain load in there from Remington. I don't know if I want an 8 twist, especially with a 16-inch barrel.
Yeah.
And you're not getting your full velocity. Be interesting to see if it keyholes or not.
Yep.
So let's shoot that. I'm going to go for the middle of the target where the black line meets the skinny line in the middle.
That works.
I think I can pull that off. Not a perfect view, but yeah, don't hold me to any accuracy records on this. But I think I should be able to keep it on paper.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's even better than.
At 100 yards, I'd be about a 2-inch group.
Yeah, but
at 50 yards with open sights.
Open sights, that's not bad.
Yeah, it shows you the potential. And they look pretty round. That thing is stabilizing.
Yeah, it is.
1 and 8 twist stabilizing a 77 grain bullet. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that was kind of a quick and dirty on this rifle, but thus far, I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's got a lot of potential. So stay tuned. We're going to get a scope mounted on this thing and then really thrash it out. As you can see, I've got a pretty good selection of ammo here. What we'll do is we'll shoot different loads and just see how well each one of them does. Showing potential. What do you think of this particular rifle?
Oh my gosh. I may need to order one from Henry for a coyote gun. This is great for you.
I think that would be the ultimate. Up on a coyote stand, just get 6 of them to come in and lay out all 6 of them.
I like that.
Well, that's our review, our initial review of the Henry Supreme, a new lever action rifle. It kind of is a blend of the traditional outside hammer Model 94, Model 336 style rifles with the Savage 99 with the internal hammer. Internal hammers are nothing new in lever action. Savage had it back in the late 1900s, in the 1890s.
Yeah.
And then Winchester had their Model 88. There was the Finn Wolf.
Yep.
That was a similar deal, modern lever action with no hammer. I think there was one more. No? With the Browning.
Yeah.
The BLRs.
Yeah,
The BLRs are all. I think they're hammerless. Good Lord, I can't remember.
If they're not, we apologize.
Yeah, we do. It's not like we haven't shot them before. So thanks for joining us, folks. We're gonna get some snow here, so we'll wrap this up so things don't get too wet and rusted, and we'll see you all next time on Honest and Shoot Straight.